What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. Two back-to-back 3-0 losses for Tottenham under Nuno Espirito Santo in the Premier League. A 3-0 loss against Chelsea. I mean, last game against Crystal Palace, when we did lose 3-0, I put a lot of the blame on Nuno for the way he set up the team and failing to change it during the game. But I think this game, is a bit different. I'm not going to put too much blame on Nuno, but before we get into that, let's start off with the player ratings, and let's start off with Hugo Lloris. I gave him a 7, you gave him a 6. I mean, the reason I gave him a 7 is I just don't think he put too much of a foot wrong yesterday. I thought he was quite commanding from his crosses. I thought he made some really impressive saves, 2 or 3 impressive saves in there. And with the goals, I don't think he could have done anything with any 3 of the goals. So I can't really fault Hugo for yesterday, really.
Yeah, I don't really fault him for anything. I think he made some good saves, especially in the second half to keep the score down, especially from Werner. He came out a couple of times to make some saves down from Kovacic as well. He made a good save. I do think he probably could have made an attempt for that second goal, even though he didn't move. I know he probably wouldn't have saved it anyway, but I would have liked to see an attempt. But yeah, I'm not marking him down for anything. He made a couple of good saves, but I don't think it was anything spectacular. So I think it was just 6, yeah.
Let's move on to Emerson Royale. 5s all round from us for Emerson. It was a bit of a mixed bag from Emerson because I thought he started the game really well, really strong. Definitely in the first half, it was a good performance from him, but then he did struggle massively with Alonso down his side. I thought Alonso was giving him a torrid time, but I think signs of improvement from the previous game, but still not much there, to be honest. I thought, look, it was okay in the first half, but I thought he did struggle dramatically with Marcos Alonso.
Yeah, first half I thought he was good, and I thought he was competing well, and he was aggressive, and he was contributing quite well to the passing rhythms of the team and stuff like that. But yeah, he did again start to struggle second half. Not totally his fault, but he did start to struggle to contain Alonso on that left-hand side, and Havertz as well was running riot a bit, and he was struggling to deal with both of them. I think it was more of a structural issue than his issue, but he did seem a bit lost in the second half.
He did. Let's move on to Cuti Romero. I gave him a 7, you gave him a 6 in his first start in the Premier League, and he was impressive. Definitely in the first half, how he dealt with Lukaku, so aggressive, getting in front of him, winning balls in the air. I thought he was really, really impressive. But, you know, he tired in that second half, consequence of what's been happening with him through the international break and stuff like that. But on a whole, I was very impressed with Christian Romero.
Yeah, I think it was a good debut. I think he first half really impressive. I was very happy with what I was seeing in the first half with how he dealt with Lukaku. Did think he started to come off a bit in the second half, unfortunately, and did start to tire. Suffered cramp with 20 minutes to go, and obviously got taken off a bit early for Sanchez, but he was okay. I think all in all, hopefully he can keep up those performances of the first half throughout the game. But other than that, I think he should be a good signing for us. He's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, signs are good, weren't they, yesterday from Romero, that's for sure. Let's move on to Eric Dyer. 2 contrasting ratings here. I gave him a 7, you gave him a 4. And I thought Eric Dyer was good on a whole. I thought he was commanding in the first half. Second half, I thought he was good as well. I mean, like the deflection that came off him, I don't think he could have done much with it. And I can't really remember. Maybe it's the beer goggles talking, but I can't really remember him putting too much of a foot wrong yesterday.
I think the deflection, as much as it's unlucky, I think he could have done more with it. He could have got a lot tighter to Kante, come out a bit more. He pretty much allows him to have the shot. And yeah, the deflection obviously is unlucky, but he could have accounted for that if he's closer to Kante. And I think as much with Romero, I think he really did struggle up against Lukaku in that second half, and he was kind of running riot a bit. And I feel like he wasn't as aggressive as Romero was. I think, look, he did some good stuff as well, but I'm really faulting him for the second goal. As much as people will say it's unlucky, I actually think he could have done a lot better with it.
Interesting. But I thought his performance on a whole was good, Dyer.
It was all right. It was. I don't know. I don't think it was that impressive.
Interesting. I want to know what your opinions are in the comment section below. First time since we've been doing these ratings like this is the most contrasting one so far. So it's interesting to see what you guys think out there. Let's move on to Sergio Reguilon at left back. I gave him a 3, Sim gave him a 4, and I think he struggled on the day. He struggled defensively, he struggled going forward, and obviously there was that one moment where he was through on goal and he decided to square it instead of try lace it into the net. And I thought it was just a bad day at the office for Reguilon, to be honest.
Yeah, it has to be better, especially when they had the opportunity. He has to get the shot off. Or if you're going to pass it, you have to make sure you find your man. Otherwise, the chance is gone. And that was our best chance of the game, unfortunately for him. Defensively, I think the first half, again, another performance where I think he was pretty good, competing well. I think Mason Mount struggled for most of the game against him. That's why he went off at half-time. Second half, most of the attack came down the other side, to be fair, but I think going forward wise, I think his passing, for some reason, when he's going forward and he's looking up and his passing isn't quick enough. He needs to make sure he gets his head up a lot earlier. And I think when he got the opportunity to whip a ball in or whipping across, the quality wasn't really there. So need more from Reguilon.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move over to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Sim gives him a 7, I give him a 6. And, you know, if he would have kept up his levels in the first half than he did the whole game, I would have given him an 8 or a 9 because I thought he was that good in the first half. But second half, when Kante came on, I mean, Højbjerg became pretty much anonymous in that second half, I think, and he was out of position for Rudiger's goal as well. So a very mixed bag from Højbjerg. I thought he was sensational in that first half, commanding things from the middle of the park, massively contributed to us winning that midfield battle in the first half. But second half, he dropped off massively, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he was my best player on the day, in my opinion, for me. I think Højbjerg, as you say, brilliant in the first half. I think when the pressing system was in place, he was at the forefront of that, and he was really making it difficult for those Chelsea midfield players to play any sort of football and to get into their rhythm. Second half, when Kante entered the fray, he did struggle, especially for that period where Skipp wasn't. I think when Skipp came on, it kind of stopped the rot a bit for a period, and I think we didn't gain control, but we stopped Chelsea from, being as dominant in terms of creating chances for about a 20-minute spell. And I thought Højbjerg was also decent there, but then the last part of the game, again, when we were trying to go for it a bit, we were getting caught on the counter, and he couldn't really keep it up. So I do think on the day he was our best player, but unfortunately it's not saying much.
Yeah. Let's move over to Tanguy Ndombele. Second start in 2 games for him. 6s all round from us for Tanguy. And I thought first half he was really getting on the ball, really troubling the Chelsea defence, especially with a few runs down the left-hand flank. And I thought he was really good. But again, with Tanguy, we know what's going to happen. He's going to tire, and he tired so easily into the game, and he was taken off, and probably quite rightly so.
Yeah. It was taken off on the hour. I wonder if he was taken off as a consequence of us going 2-0 down, or if he really felt, if Nuno really felt that he'd given all he could give. It'll be interesting to see. But again, first half was electric. Really good part of our play in possession. A good player to keep possession wise was a big part of why we were able to play around the Chelsea press and stuff like that. But didn't result in a goal. Didn't really result in too many chances, and then he went off. On the hour mark, 2-0 down. I think he's nowhere to be seen for that second goal as well. I can't remember where. I don't know where he was, but he was nowhere to be seen. Yeah. So I guess we have to mark him down for that. And I guess it was the right decision. I don't know. I guess rightly taken off, but once he took him off, we had nothing in possession. Absolutely nothing. I know, but it was getting to a time just before he was getting taken off where he was just getting caught in possession the whole time. So I think you had to take him off. You had to. Yes, so.
Let's move over to Dele Alli. 3s all round for Dele for us. Lowest rating of the season, I believe. And in terms of Dele, I mean, he was there with his energy and desire again, but his quality, just lack of quality. I mean, I don't know what he produced on that football pitch at all. I mean, what did he do apart from run around a bit?
That's it. It was anonymous other than that. Didn't see anything of quality when he was asked to play a through ball, get a shot off, or anything like that. Wasn't really in those positions too many times as well. Second half, he was tasked with playing some early through balls to Son or Kane, and every single one of them were wayward and not on point. And were just reckless, not reckless, but wasteful. That's the word.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with Dele in the centre midfield role. He's already wasteful in attacking position, but when you're wasteful in the middle of the park, it becomes a big liability. And that's what we saw with Dele yesterday. Dispossessed 7 times, I believe.
Wow,
so
7 times.
Needs to work
The
on that.
Dally was real yesterday.
Definitely real. He needs to be sharper. He needs to think quicker, and if he has to add that precision to his game, which wasn't really there when he was in an attacking position.
Let's move on to Giovanni Lo Celso. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 3. The only real bit of quality I saw from Gio yesterday was that through ball to Heung-min Son with that heavy touch. Apart from that, I thought he was very, very wasteful going forward. No real bits of quality going forward. He was there through effort and desire, but again, I felt that he tired as well quite quickly in the second half, and he got taken off after 60 minutes.
I think it was a bit more involved than Dele. That's what I would say. And I think him and Kane did a good job in that first half, coming back into midfield and making sure we keep possession and harrying the Chelsea midfielders and putting that extra bit of effort in. I think they did a good job. But yeah, second half tired really badly. He gave away the ball for the second goal as well, which obviously was a bad moment from him. And he felt like he couldn't last more than 60 minutes as well for him. And it's worrying as well that for Argentina, it's the same thing. He seems to go off on the hour mark. He seems to start every game, but go off on the hour mark. So that's something that is a bit of a concern for me, for Lo Celso.
Let's move over to Heung-min Son. Sim gave him a 5. I gave him a 3. But on reflection, I probably should have given him a 4 maybe for Heung-min Son. But I thought that in the early exchanges of the game, he was full of running, looking dangerous. But the problem is that he didn't really show that many signs of quality throughout the game. There was that chance I spoke about before when he played through by Giovanni Lo Celso, and there was a really heavy touch where, Son of last season would have been gobbling up those chances. That's for sure, with great control and maybe a finish to match it. But I felt Son, I didn't feel he was fit throughout the game. I felt very soon after the first 20 minutes, half an hour, he was very tiring throughout the game. He did last 90 minutes in the end, but it was a poor display from me for Sonny.
Yeah, definitely not by far, not anywhere near his best. But I think he was the one player who potentially could stretch Chelsea. He was trying to take on Silva 1-1. I must say, Silva had a great game.
He did.
Get up against Son.
I think his quality, didn't
the
he?
tactics were to force Rudiger out by drawing Lo Celso in there, and then someone was going to make that run in behind Silva. And we found him a couple of times, but Silva was just putting in some great challenges and great anticipation. So, but Son was the only real one trying to stretch him. He got him behind a couple of times. One right at the beginning of the game where he overran the ball and then went out and played for a goal kick. Another one, as you say, he just gets a toe on it, but Kepa's out quickly and he couldn't really do much. Nearly got himself injured. Second half, we Spurs had pretty much nothing. He was the only one trying to run him behind, but we never found him once. And then he was also guilty, as the rest of the team were, of kind of just giving up, which was worry. But I think Son was the only one who looked like he could be a threat in behind.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Let's move over to Harry Kane, the last of the starting 11. 3s all round for Harry Kane. And in my personal opinion, he was pretty anonymous throughout the game. Yeah, you said he was dropping back into midfield to help out the midfield a bit. But apart from that, he literally offered nothing. I think he had 1 shot on goal the whole game. And, when Harry Kane is on form, you know what he's doing. He's getting the ball. He's dictating the play. He's having shots. And this is a shadow of Harry Kane of last season.
Yeah. It was not good to play from Harry Kane. He had only shot the second half from 25 yards. Easy save for Kepa. Didn't get involved in that second half whatsoever. I felt like as well in that second half, the defence and attack, there was just such a big distance.
Yeah.
That every time we got the ball, we were just playing it long, over the top and making it easy for Chelsea to
Isolation
defend.
station, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. First half, he was playing on that left-hand side, which was definitely a new role for him. And I think he was actually... It probably made us more of a threat, seeing as having Kane deep, Son as a central player, trying to get him in behind. I could see what Nuno was trying to do, and I think Kane and Lo Celso were doing a good job in midfield. I think they're doing pretty decent in that first half. But second half, we moved Kane back centrally after the 2 subs, and he didn't get another touch of the ball apart from that shot pretty much, and it was a very difficult day for him. And the most disappointing thing is, yeah, just like the rest of the team, but with KANE, just to see him just give up pretty much was terrible.
It's hard to watch, isn't it?
Definitely hard to watch.
Let's move over to the substitutes. Ollie Skipp came on the 62nd minute for Tanguy Undombele. We both give him a 6. And I mean, he came on with a lot of energy, and he was really putting himself about, putting in some really important challenges, and one goal-saving challenge I quite remember. But for me, where Skipp's flaws come is on the ball and his passing range. And last couple of games, his passing seems to be a bit off, as it wasn't the first few games of the season.
Yeah, he didn't seem to impact the game. Well, he came on and added legs to midfield, and we added, I'm not saying sense control, but we kind of stopped the leak, which was happening right at the beginning of the first half. But unfortunately, what we needed was to get back in the game, and he couldn't really bring that to the team, unfortunately.
Brian Hill also came on in the 62nd minute for Giovanni Lo Celso. 5s all round for him. And I thought he came on as well with a lot of energy and a lot of desire, but really couldn't really impact the game at all. He was running around a lot, but with little quality.
Yeah, he came on with boundless amounts of energy, but he got lost a bit, I felt, in the game. He was trying to run in behind, but no one had the quality to find him. He got on the ball, but wasn't able to pick the lock or find any sort of pass. So again, a room for improvement. It's still raw talent, but needs to kind of find his way in this league.
And last but not least, last but not least, Nuno Espirito Santo. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. In terms of Nuno, the way he set up the team was better than anyone could have hoped for yesterday. That's the first and foremost thing. The way we played in that first half was better than anyone could have hoped for. That's for sure. At 45 minutes, if I would have asked you to give Nuno a rating, you're probably giving him an 8 or a 9 or something like that. The way he set us up, the way we played, our energy levels, our aggression levels, absolutely top notch. Then Tuchel makes the change with Kante coming on at half time. And Nuno had no answer to that whatsoever. No tactical changes, no personnel changes until the 62nd minute. But it's hard to really put him down for it, because we didn't have any options off the bench. The players that we did have on the pitch were not fully fit. Lo Celso wasn't fully fit. Ndombele wasn't fully fit. Son wasn't fully fit. Romero wasn't fully fit. Dyer maybe wasn't even fully fit. So, I mean, that's half the team, literally, not fully fit. So when you're coming up against the Chelsea side and they have a player like Kante to bring on at half time, it's an impossible task. It really is. Yeah. And I'm failing. I can't put Nuno down too much for that second half performance, seeing as the consequences he's had to deal with.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the fact, I completely agree that I'm not blaming Nuno completely for what happened yesterday, but the fact of the matter is, as much as we played well in the first half, he got out-tacticked by the opposition. That's the truth. Tuchel outmaneuvered him. He didn't. When we went 1-0 and 2-0 down very quickly in the second half, which is difficult to react to. But you would hope that he could somehow maneuver the team to give us some sort of threat.
I don't know how he could have done that.
Just do something to try and give us some sort of impetus into the second half. I'm not even asking him to get us back in the game, but at least put the players in a position that they could ask questions of Chelsea, and we just didn't do that. We didn't ask any questions of Chelsea. I think it was always going to be difficult, as you said, with Kante coming on. It was going to be very, very difficult to get back in the game, but we barely had a shot. And when we're 2-0 down, with the players looking like they didn't believe they could get back in the game, that was a difficult decision. But it's Nuno's job to motivate them, to try and make them believe they can get back in the game, and to put the team tactically in a position that at least they could threaten Chelsea, and we didn't do that. So unfortunately, that's what I marked him down for.
All right, well, that is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding our ratings. Let me know your ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.